Hello everyone and welcome back. So today's another tutorial and it's one that I had thought I had done, and then I went back and looked and realized that I've really only done time lapses of turquoise and I haven't actually done a turquoise tutorial. So got caught up in a whole bunch of turquoise this week and looking at stuff and just wow, there's so many variations. And I've done some really pretty ones before of my own. And so I thought we ought to do this today. So, a couple of things to note is that turquoise is a stone. It's not a gem. So our lightest point is going to be, or our light, reflected light, and the lightest is going to be the shine and the reflected light at the same spot. Up here is where I'm going for. And then we'll have our shadow down here. Colors. So, for my undershading, which I'm going to do first, I decided on Cold Gray 5. For our lines and little cracks, I have Dark Sepia and Brown Ochre. Why? Because I felt like it. That's why. And then I went for more of a greenish feel for my turquoise. So this is Cobalt Turquoise, Cobalt Green, Sky Blue, and Light Yellow Glaze. And this is going to be for some interesting color combos and whatnot. So, let us go hence and make turquoise. So, like we said, shading goes down here. Our shadow will go down here. So I'm just going to go around the bottom away from the light. And as we go around down here, the closer we get to the edge, the darker it will get as well. And shadows and light is always just the biggest part of gems and stones. It's because that's what makes it look three-dimensional. And I will want to just go up here with the shadow just so that it doesn't have that super harsh line up here. And so that the edge recedes from your eyesight. Or appears to recede, I should say. So, thinking like here, and then it's going to come around. It's going to be very, very round feeling. So, just like that. See how we already have sort of a three-dimensional feel to it? That's what we want. Okay, so going to go on to our lines. I decided that I want to go ahead and do some of the lines with our brown ochre, and then I'm going to add depth to them, like that deep crack feel with dark sepia. So I'm going to use the brown ochre and keep it pretty light. I do want to make some of these lines like really dark, but most of all I want to keep it pretty light because the dark sepia is what we're going to use to really bring that depth in there. There's no hard and fast rules with cracks. It's just kind of whatever you feel like. There are some that are like really round. There's some that are very sharp and pointed. Just depends on if you're looking at a reference photo of turquoise or if you have a piece of turquoise that you want to copy or something like that. I don't. I'm working from just stuff that I've seen in my head on Pinterest, Google, wherever, looking at random turquoise stuff. So I'm not working off of anything per se, or in particular, I should say. Like that, kind of give it a nice rounded feel. And bring some thinner cracks in through here. And of course, as we're going to go all over this with blue, some of this may fade, which is totally fine. We want the colors, especially this color, to interact, give it some of that more greenish feel to it. Like that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, so get my dark sepia in here and just really get some of these cracks to deepen. Maybe that's like a hole in the turquoise up there, I don't know. I don't know, I kind of like this like sharp feeling for the cracks. And if you do lose these lines as we go along, you can always, come back and redo them so that you really have that feel in there for them. And you don't have to do them like me either. You can keep yours really rounded. You could use other colors for them. I mean, heck, you could do purple ones for all I know. And remember, when you're doing gems and stuff like that, if you're following this tutorial, use whatever colors you want. I mean, there's no hard and fast rules. This one specifically is just if you're wanting turquoise, or at least this kind of turquoise. You can always just take the idea of it, change all the colors, and just make this gem completely, or this stone completely different. Which, if you do, I would love to see. If you were in my gem group on Facebook, Gem Hose, I always want to see what you're working on. Okay. Oh, I like it. I like that a lot. Okay. Now I'm getting kind of excited. Alright, so I want to start off with a base layer of my lightest color, or my lightest blue, I should say, which is sky blue. And I want to do it, I'm going to kind of skip over some of these so that I'm not messing with them too much, but just doing a very, very light layer of this sky blue. And then I will end up coming back with it, and we'll use it to kind of blend some of the greens, the turquoise and the green that we've got out here. If you're wanting maybe a more vibrant blue for your turquoise, or more of a traditional turquoise instead of a more greenish one, I might suggest using bluish turquoise or cobalt blue greenish, even helio blue reddish, depending on what polychromos you have. That's what I'm using, by the way. I almost always use Polychromos now since I've gotten them. They are my favorite pencil currently. Can always change, but I don't think it will, because they're pretty awesome. Okay, got that base layer. And now I want to go for the Cobalt Turquoise, which is the darkest green over here that I have. Well, it's turquoise, but greenish turquoise, whatever. And I'm going to actually go around these, because that's one of those things that I've noticed is like, oftentimes it gets darker around, like the closer you get to the cracks on some of these turquoise cabochons that I've been looking at, as well as down here in the shadow. So I'm going to leave some like open spaces almost. And if you use light layers, we're going to be able to get a lot of color in here and a lot of really just neat variations. You don't have to do all of them. I'm going to do the majority of them. And then definitely get a whole bunch of it down here in the shadow area. If you have a favorite type of turquoise, love to know about it. You should comment and tell me what it is. One of my favorites is the, like, I think it's created, but it's the Mojave purple turquoise. And it's got like purples and golds in it and stuff like that. It's probably one of my all-time favorites just because it's so intricate and the colors go together so beautifully. Alright. I think I need some more right here. Alright, let's go on to our other green. This is Cobalt Green. I'm just going to go over a lot of what we just did. Just helping to smooth it out, give it some extra color. And it is also lighter, which helps as well. Blending it into that sky blue that we've got on the back there. Okay, I really want to go back in and start just getting some of this put cohesively together and just blending with going over the middles of these and blending it out with the sky blue. So that's coming along pretty well. I'm really liking that. I'm recording. And then this up here is where we'll have the highlight. So I'm actually going to grab my white and kind of give it a bit of a blend with that and just kind of keep it real soft up here. You see that? I think that looks pretty good. Sort of gives it an overall feel. Pushes it back a little bit. And then that looks alright. I definitely want to go in here with my Cobalt Turquoise and just bring up some of that contrast, bring back some of the greenish feel of it. And then I think we need to work on our lines a little bit. That's what I want to bring in here is the dark sepia. Bring my lines back. Keep them dark. Like really make them stand out, you know? I don't want them to get too lost. And work on our shadow. So I grab my gray. I'm just going to go in here and just work on that shadow a little bit. It just really helps bring that depth, that third dimension to it. You can see how this up here is just like this light edge. I want to make that to go away. No matter if you're doing a stone or a gem, you don't really want light edges unless you're doing some kind of extreme special effect where you need a light edge. But generally, to give that rounded feel, you want to not have light edges, basically. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now that we've got our shadow worked up a little bit better, alright, our highlight is gonna go, see how it's like just the lightest, like right here? So our highlight's gonna hit here, just kind of come down. So, where is my pen? I don't even know. Right, here it is. So I've got my Uniball Signo gel pen. It's the one I use a whole bunch. And the other one that I use a whole bunch is my Jelly Roll 08. Today I'm using this just because I find these to be pretty easy to work with if they decide to work, you know. So most of the time they're pretty easy to work with. And if I decide to clean up my highlight as soon as I'm done with it or whatever, which I generally do because I like very, very sharp lines on my highlight. This one scrapes off pretty well. This is just for other light bouncing around our turquoise. And that highlight is just way too big. Oh my lord. Okay, so didn't even use this. Oh well, that's okay. We used a white instead. I'm gonna grab my white pencil actually and clean up this highlight. You remember to watch how close you are to the edge, how far away you are to the edge, the size of it, all that fun stuff. Just depending on how round or not round you're wanting to make your gem or your stone feel. So, I don't like this one. Make it go away. I'm not sold on this highlight. I might have to rework it. I don't know. But for the most part, it's alright. So there you have it. Turquoise. My version. And I hope you like it. And I also hope that you definitely go and try it out for yourself. If you want to do the shading or whatever, I have a tutorial for pewter and antiqued silver, I think. So you can go check that out. It's here on my YouTube page somewhere. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll hope you try it and post it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.